So this film is an experiment in unmonumental filmmaking. It focuses attention on the minutiae of the everyday, with a medium that I've long suspected has become fetishized or rarefied, like marble supposedly is for sculptors. It's not a document of the things I've seen, such as the man who collects rubbish long after dawn every morning, the homeless woman who sleeps under the awnings after closing at midnight on a Saturday, the men that gather on the bench in the evening to drink from cans and smoke roll-up cigarettes, the kids that trade tricks on bicycles precipitating the marks on the asphalt, the joggers that stretch out on the rails, and the street cleaners that lean to watch pigeons and gulls fight over scraps as the overland passes by behind. Rather, I have amassed cigarette butts, cotton buds, paddle pop sticks, ring pulls, bottle caps, rubber bands, coat hangers, amongst other bits and pieces of debris that populate this car park. Over this time, I've thought of the car park as a kind of social space, a non-place for brief encounters, and a residue of patterns that suggest politics of labour, class, and consumption. Could one assume that the people who work here also shop here? Do they really care about their jobs? As a schoolboy, I stacked shelves at a local Kmart on weekends. Once during one of my shifts, the store experienced a blackout, and a handful of cunning shoppers filled their trolleys with expensive goods, like electronics and fishing tackle, and wheeled them straight out of the fire exits, totally unhindered. The weekend staff, mostly made up of casuals, couldn't have cared less.
It strikes me that using film now isn't necessarily about making images, but rather about the material itself, its peculiarities, the investment of money and time required, and the camaraderie that emerges between those dedicated to its craft. If contemporary life was once a social relationship between people mediated by images, more recent commentators observe that we are now drowning in an incessant stream of sensory data. It is impossible to be conscious of all that competes for our attention, so we've become selective about the images that we attend to. And those that we produce and distribute. So perhaps this film allows for a pause. Let's consider the conditions of making this film. Surely the commitment in time and resources to produce the images could have been directed more efficiently elsewhere. Not to mention the patience and risk demanded of you, the audience, to entertain the film, which after all makes no claim to offer aesthetic insight or reward. Cinema, it has been theorised, is above all a social ritual, a singular yet collective experience that is a fictionalised reflection of reality. It has evolved a language capable of expressing any sphere of thought. But what happens when that language fails, when the image alives? Perhaps we could use a moment just to stare in mid-focus and contemplate sensorially amidst the stodge of the everyday, in tribute even to this the proliferating banal substance of life.
So, lately I've been thinking about what it means to consume images, and how cinema is a phenomenon of co-production, and how images move amongst us, not only as memorable snapshots, but also as slippery fragments and faint or obscured impressions. So what if the language of cinema breaks down and fails to communicate? Is the material itself enough? What we have then, half-cooked, is a tangle of experiments, mishaps and misadventures that evade and imply the strange attraction of moving pictures.